Welcome back to Cars in Detail. So today we are going to try something that some of you may have. I'm going to try and fix the flaking white paint on my wife's Honda Odyssey. So if you got flaking white paint, this might be your video. Let me show you what we're doing. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the top of the car completely taped off, and what I'm going to do is show you how to try and do this on the cheap. So first of all, you'll notice here I've got kind of what they call a soft edge, so you don't tape it completely down, so it's taped down underneath here. You can see it here, but it's not taped down. So this is supposed to give it a soft edge, so it doesn't look like there's a tape line. Supposedly. I don't know. You'll notice over here, right there, this is why we're doing this, because the paint just keeps peeling off. So what we're going to do, we're going to scuff it with 800 grit just to give it a little bit of mechanical adhesion. Then once we're done that, going to put a little panel prep on there, and then we're just going to paint it, and that's it. No other prep. There's not going to be any primer or anything like that. Like I said, doing this on the cheap. So let's see what happens. So like I said, the 800 grit is just to give it a little bit of mechanical adhesion, sand off the rough edges. I might even go down maybe to a 600 because some of this stuff here is pretty lumpy. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. I'll use the 800 around the edges though. Get that all sanded up. Let's go get some slightly grittier sandpaper. Okay, gonna use the 600 on these lumpy parts here. That's better. Just because it's on the roof doesn't mean we don't want to make it look as good as we can. Now you can see on here that I did make a temporary repair. This was just to help slow down any corrosion that might be happening. So this should do the trick, hopefully. Okay, now we're gonna go to the other side. Okay. Just so you guys can see it from a different perspective. Okay, yeah, it feels pretty good. Okay, now I'll follow up with the 800 just to smooth out some of the scratch lines. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, we'll just get around to the other side, touch that up with the 800, and then paint. I should add, I am not a body shop kind of guy by any stretch of the imagination. So if it seems like I don't really know what I'm doing, it's because I really don't. But good news is, it should look significantly better than it did. Some lumpy stuff there. Okay, panel prep. All right, now I'm using the Gyeon prep and just a clean microfiber. Now, we want to get as much of the dust that we just sanded off as possible. Give us a nice clean surface to work with. Okay, I'm ready to paint. I'm going to move you guys out of the way because obviously don't want you to get paint on the camera. Now, I am using Duplicolor, which I just got at my local Gyeon Tire. This particular flavor is the Taffeta White. It is slightly darker. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. It's slightly darker than what it's supposed to be, but this is the correct paint code, so we're just gonna go with it and hope that it comes out. Now, give it a good shake. Now, we want to do a light dusting first. Okay, let's leave that, we'll come back. Okay, because I'm impatient and I don't like to wait, I'm gonna dust it again and we'll see how it looks. There you go, looking better already. Okay, third coat. Let's try this again. I'm pretty happy with how it's blending for the most part.
Let me know if you ever want me to be a special guest in your YouTube channel.
No problem. Okay, fourth coat. A little bit heavier, but let's see. It's looking good so far. Looking good so far. So hopefully you can see, it's looking pretty good. The blend looks pretty good. There's just this one spot right there. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see that. But the rest looks pretty good. It's pretty blended. I think a couple more coats should be good. Okay, coat number 5, I think. Gonna go a little heavier. See how that looks. Looks pretty good. We're gonna give this spot a little squirt. Okay, I think it looks pretty reasonable. We'll do another. Okay, good enough for the girls we date. Unfortunately, that's not the only spot. As you can see, right here. This whole thing here has got to be redone, which we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to sand, panel prep, and do all that. But this time you guys will get to see it. Okay, so I'm going to tape this section off first. Oops. I want to try to get it over the edge to make sure that it's all covered up. And I want to make sure I cover a slightly larger area than what I'm actually going to be painting. So we have the hard edge, and then we got to do a soft edge just like we did with the other part. And hopefully this one will turn out well too. In case you're wondering where I actually got this paper from, this was actually just paper that was used in a package that I got from somewhere, and I just kept it because I knew I was going to use it. So yeah, I didn't waste anything. So I'm going to use this, and it should work just fine. Now, hopefully you can see this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of a buffer, about an inch and a bit, maybe an inch-ish. Just going to tape it down. And let me just show you something here. So right in, hang on, in here, in between the body and the tailgate, there's this little bit of paint that's also flaking off here. Hopefully you can see that. What I'm going to do with that, originally I was thinking of painting over it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a brush to just touch it up. So same process here, just going to tape a bit of an edge, but then we're going to fold some of the paper over, some extra paper, fold it over to give it a soft edge. And hopefully, as you saw in the front part, if it works the way that we think and the way that I saw on the YouTubes, should give me a nice soft edge, hopefully. Okay, last section. Okay. We want to keep this down, so this is just to keep the main area taped down. But we're going to do more. Now, I'm going to do a little section over here. So this will give us, so just by folding it over like that, hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. This will give us the soft edge we want so that you don't get the harsh tape line. At least in theory, that's what we're going to do. So that's what we're going to try. Now, it might be a little bit too tight, so we'll just do this. Something like that. Yeah, sure. That should work. Okay, so just get that in place. Again, I am not a body guy, but I'm hoping that this will at least look good enough where if you're not looking for it, you can't tell. That's what we're hoping. can we just get it so that it looks like, oh man, that 2011 is in pretty good shape. That's what we were hoping. Okay, I had to go get some more paper. All right, we'll be back when this is done. Okay, well, I'm not going to win any awards for the quality of the tape job here, obviously, but if it works, does it really matter? Okay, on to sanding. So we're going to do the same process that we just did, 600 followed by 800, and then panel prep. And if this works, I will be truly impressed with myself. If it doesn't, but it still looks okay from 10 feet away, then that's all we care about. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to do this part, but I'm going to sand it and scuff it anyway, because some of the paints, so I left it open a little bit so that maybe, just maybe, we can get a little bit of paint application. Know what I mean? Okay, here we go. Oh crap. There goes my soft edge. We'll fix that in a minute. I'm going to try to get this edge off so that it's not as obvious where the previous repair was done. Because I definitely wasn't happy with that, I can tell you. Okay. That should be good enough. I'm gonna get this little bit down here. It is already starting to rust and it's flaking a bit, so we want to make sure we get that. There you go. Okay, now to fix my little boo-boos with the sanding. Let's just see if we can fix that. Make it a little less obvious. Hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, well, I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know. Okay, let's leave that and see what happens. Well, let's take a look and see how we did here. This looks not too bad. In fact, I could say this is pretty passable. So, I'm gonna rip off the tape job and it's kind of dryerish. I'm wondering if this might need a bit of a buff and polish. Well, Anyway, it looks better. That's the main thing. So let's just rip this off, and or should I maybe do another coat? A little bit rough over here. It looks okay here. Smooth there. Yeah. Might do a heavy wet coat. You can see some of the original paint is starting to lift just from me painting it. That's some high quality paint there, Honda. Thanks. Well, I am very happy with how this turned out. Hopefully you can see that. It's hard to tell with the shadow there, but you can see here is where it starts to blend, and it's pretty good, I gotta say. I think what I will probably do is do a 1000 grit and 2000 grit wet sand and then polish over this just to maybe even it out a titch, but otherwise not bad. And you can see here, this is the problem. You fix one area and then it just starts to lift again. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I might have to just sand it and try again. Okay, well, I don't have time to fart around with this thing all day. I've got to do an oil change on this thing as well. But you can see here, let me just zoom in. Oops. Can I zoom in? Okay, there we go. There we go. So you can see I just put a heavy blast on it. It doesn't look great, but we'll wait for it to dry a little bit and then I'll put another coat on it. All right, so as you can see, this part just keeps on flaking. So my solution, paintbrush. Yeah, it's not gonna look as good. And look, this frickin' stupid paint just keeps on flaking. And there's nothing I can do about it other than repaint the whole damn roof. So, like I said, don't have time for this. Look at this. Junk paint. Despite waxing and caring for it all these years, just the way it is. Look at that. Look, it's just lifting. Terrible. The more I paint it, the more it lifts. So we're just gonna leave it and hope it doesn't peel anymore. Okay. I am really happy with how the blending came out after a bit of a cut and buff. You can still clearly see this dark patch here is obviously where it was painted, because clearly Duplicolor is not the same. So thanks Duplicolor for giving me a paint that doesn't match. Because you can see, like here, here. Anyway, that's okay. Nothing we can do about it now. At least it looks better than it did. And there's no tape line, that's obvious. So yeah, did a little cut and buff and significantly better than it was. That's all I'll say. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, this quick sort of tutorial on how to fix flaking Honda paint. That's why we're here, for the love of cars. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.